gave the Raiders a chance, you know, to be on offense too many times. When you give an offense like that, with some of the players that they have, that many chances, it's not going to turn out well for you.
What a leader. Sal, how cautious should bettors be with Cleveland moving forward?
They should stay away from them. They're still a loser team. Like, they were up 8 with a minute and a half left, and they had the ball, and they lost that game. This is what they do. They're okay, they have players on both sides of the ball that you could root for now. They're exciting, but this is like bedazzling your flip phone. It's the same loser team, and I am stunned that the Ravens are only favored by 2.5 at Cleveland. What am I missing here? That game at best goes to overtime for Cleveland, just like every other game, and I'd still take my chances with the Ravens.
You know what? This is a perfect illustration, guys, of why one win doesn't make you Super Bowl champs. So, Sal, hopefully you're taking notes. I don't want to see your fall from grace come 8 days later in the black hole. But you look at Baker Mayfield and the way he performed, he can take as much responsibility as he wants for ill-advised throws, especially late in the game when Cleveland had a chance to kick a field goal. But his defense still allowed 42 points, and that's a bigger issue. This is a Cleveland team that was supposed to be improved on that side of the ball. We knew there were playmakers offensively, and I think with any first overall pick in the draft or rookies in general, you're going to get a spate of uneven performances. I really think Cleveland offers some value this weekend as a 2.5, 3-point home underdog. But much like Sal, I have zero confidence in this team's ability to actually win games until I see them string together at least a few successes in a row.
I am blown away here that the Raiders have fallen so far that the story is Baker Mayfield doesn't play well against the Raiders. Not that the Raiders paying John Gruden $10 million a year with Derek Carr, who 2 years ago looked like the MVP of the league, have to go to overtime, get a 2-point conversion with 90 seconds left in the game, and barely survive to get 45 points they have to score to beat the Browns by 3 at home to avoid falling to 0-4. To me, the storyline here is the Raiders and how bad they are, that the Browns almost rolled right in with a rookie quarterback starting his first game and won in the black hole out in Oakland. What has happened to the Raiders that they have fallen this far off the reservation? There was a lot of expectations, pretty high-level expectations for the Raiders to be decent this year, and they are just awful, and we're already writing them off and complaining because the Browns weren't good enough to win a game on the road in California. It's crazy to me.
You guys, I'm a new Baker Mayfield fan, and I think I have the perfect analogy. Baker is like the guy that you really like in high school. He texts you all the time. He shares his pudding cup with you. He promises to take you to the prom, and then he doesn't show up.
Rachel,
Wow.
be careful if you bring up pudding on this show. I don't want to hear any more Clay Travis Titans and pudding.
Moving on.
I've heard enough of those.
Chad, I still remember.
Yes.
Sad.
The Cowboys got a late field goal to beat the Lions 26-24 on Sunday and improved to 2-2 on the season. Todd, are you more confident in betting on Dallas after their win against the Lions? Measly win.
I think we're going to learn a lot more about Dallas this weekend on the road in prime time taking on the Houston Texans. I did say going into last week, I think you have to watch their totals because we talked about them being an under team. But without Sean Lee, the defense is really going to take a step back, and you can't rely on Ezekiel Elliott to go for 240 all-purpose yards every single game. So what that's going to mean is Dak Prescott's going to have to make plays with his arm. Now, the one reason I'm a little more optimistic about that now, they started to get rookie Michael Gallup involved in the offense. He's the one guy that if he can come into his own and provide some big game-breaking potential that can really give them some pop in the passing game. It was huge for them to get Cole Beasley, who was questionable heading into that game. But this is a Dallas team, I think, that's going to have to win some slugfest, but at the same time show potential to go up and down the field. They'll have a tall task when they go across the state to take on Houston.
Battle for Texas. Bill O'Brien is right on the coaching hot seat. If we don't have a Frank Reich decision to go for it like he did in the overtime on his side of the field, I think a lot of people are talking about how Bill O'Brien will get fired if he loses to the Cowboys because you have that rivalry that exists between the cities of Dallas and Houston. They don't particularly like each other. It's one of those kind of internal state battles that matters more to people who live down there. Obviously, we know how big football is in the state of Texas in general. The Texans have been awful. Arguably, the Texans through 4 weeks are the biggest disappointment relative to expectations in the entirety of the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys have not been great, but they're sitting at 2-2, squarely in the mix in the NFC East. If the Texans lose to the Cowboys to fall to 1-4, their season is over. I think Bill O'Brien's going to get fired. The NFC East might be bad enough that even if the Cowboys lose, they're still in the mix. So I see this as a massive must-win game for the Texans. I think the Cowboys are just okay, but that game kind of segmenting up, coming up Sunday, is a good one.
Yeah, I think that first coach fired bet is one of the most exciting ones out there. And you have, add both teams, the Texans or the Cowboys, not narrowly avoided a victory or losses. They would have, both guys could have been fired. I can't talk. I'm so excited about King being King.
You're really struggling
Really, I'm
today.
like, yeah, I know. Where's my sack?
Is it heavy?
I don't know. Cowboys are 2-0. Then when Zeke went rushes for 20+ attempts, and 1-0 when Jason Garrett makes two. I can't speak. This is too heavy.
Why
I'm
can he
taking it
not
off.
talk?
What
the
happened?
guy gets the crowd. He can't speak.
You know, the
all
King
of a sudden.
doesn't have to
So
talk. He can just
rattled
sit
right
on his
now.
laurels.
So
I'm
rattled
resting.
over there.
Show your book, Travis.
Worst analogy ever is comparing him to King Triton. I can't get that out of my head. I've seen The Little Mermaid a ton of times. I've got kids. King Triton was ripped and had a white beard. Somebody needs to out themselves. Who's comparing this guy to King Triton? That's the worst analogy of all time.
Let's hear it.
Hey, Travis, it was your boss, so I'd watch what you're saying. All right, guys, good stuff. When we come back to Locked
Awful,
In,
Charlie
9
Dixon.
bets, 3 men who get to start over, and many, many snaps.
But he had a
Hopefully Sal can
beard.
find his words. Look at that.
I got